Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another episode of Stock Market Recap, and today all eyes are on NVIDIA as they had their GTC events launched today, and it'll be going all throughout the week, and basically they'll be sharing any info that they have on Blackwell or some potential future releases. And yeah, I'm not going to bore you too much, let's just get straight into it. So I've pulled up the stock screener for today, and as you can see, it's a pretty bloody red day today. Um, Especially the Max 7s are taking a pretty big hit. NVIDIA down 3.4%. Broadcom down 3%. Google was down 2.3%. Meta down 3.7%. Tesla down another 5%. Tesla just keeps losing market cap with each day. But today the focus is really on NVIDIA. So as I said in the intro, they did have their GTC event start today. Jensen did speak for about 2 hours, and I did listen to the full thing. And to summarize, they do have a couple new partnerships. So first of all, they're partnering with GM, General Motors, and they're going to be working together on building self-driving cars, which is kind of competition for Tesla. So I guess that could be an argument for why Tesla was down today, but I think Jensen really doesn't care that much who wins when it comes to self-driving. He really just wants his chips to be used in that technology. He just kind of wants someone to succeed. Doesn't matter if it's Tesla or GM or anyone else really. And then they also partnered with Cisco, uh, I believe it was T-Mobile and Google, and or no, sorry, I think it was Disney, Google, and Cisco, something like that. And basically, we don't know too much about that yet, but they're going to be working together on something, and they'll probably reveal more of that as the days go on. But yeah, right now we don't know much about it. So Nvidia's down 3.4%. And there wasn't anything bad really that Jensen said or that happened in the event. This is really just a sell the news event, just typical. Basically, what happens usually is stock will kind of rally into some events like GTC or like an earnings report, and then once the event happens, unless they blow everyone's minds out, which in this case wasn't really what they achieved, the stock will get sold off, and that's what we've seen here. So if I pull up the monthly chart for Nvidia, you can see that. So right here we have kind of the Trump tariff sell off. So Nvidia was down 23% here. And then here from March 10th to March 14th, we actually had a nice rally of 13%, which, considering Nvidia is almost a $3 trillion company, is quite a lot. And then on Monday, it went down a little bit, and then now we get a sell the news event. So they pumped into the GTC, and then it got sold off, which is pretty normal, actually. This happens a lot these days. All right, I've now selected the 1 month performance for screener. As you can see, pretty much everything in this tech zone is red by a lot actually. Um, I mean, really, other than Intel, I mean, most of these stocks are really red, including the rest of the Max 7s like Google and Meta and Amazon. And basically, I think now is like a perfect time to buy because I mean, Nvidia just had a great events. Like, there's nothing that they said that would change the story on the stock. Like, the stock is the same as it was when it was 150. And people are calling it undervalued back then. And now it's all the way down to 115. And they have earnings coming up. I mean, it's not that soon, but it's like maybe 2 months away. And I feel like, if Jensen continues saying that Blackwell demand is really high and like DeepSeek isn't going to be an issue like initially we thought it could be. By the way, if you're unaware, DeepSeek basically it's like a Chinese AI model. It's kind of like ChatGPT, but supposedly they used a lot less resources which people thought was bearish NVIDIA because maybe there won't be as much demand for NVIDIA chips, but that turned out to be kind of just a nothing burger. We could see here that um right here, this was the DeepSeek drop. It dropped 17% in one day, and then it kind of just, yeah, it kind of recovered it. And then here it went down just because of the Trump tariffs. The whole market is down, so it's actually kind of surprising. NVIDIA is only down 23%, even though it seems like a lot. Like S&P is down 10%, so I feel like NVIDIA could easily be down like 30-40%, considering how cyclical semiconductors are. So here I've actually pulled up the biggest losers for the day in the S&P 500. First up, we have SMCI, which kind of makes sense. Actually, NVIDIA didn't mention them a single time today in the event. And, SMCI has had many issues, kind of like a lot of investors think they're a fraud. And, their stock price used to be like in the hundreds. Now it's all the way down to 37. It actually bottomed at like 18 and then had a pretty big rally. And then now it's getting sold off again. So that one makes sense. Then we have the cruise lines, or the Caribbean, down 7%. The Norwegian is down 4%. And that's mainly because, let's keep it short. There's a stock called Delta Airlines. It's one of the airline stocks, and they basically cut their guidance for next year, and they said that like the macro environment's not good for them, and like tariff concerns and whatnot. And basically their stock has kind of been like a disaster ever since then. And yeah, they're down 30% from their highs. It's a pretty significant move. And yeah, basically all the airline stocks have been suffering, along with the cruise lines, interestingly. That's why these two are down. Then Tesla obviously continues heading downwards. I mean, Tesla just can't catch a bid at all. I mean, this thing was 400 something. It felt like it was 400 something like 2 months ago. I mean, it literally was. And then, yeah, now there's like a lot of risks going around. There's some damage being done to the brand in terms of like a lot of people disagree with what Musk is doing right now. And I really think like if Musk just starts tweeting about Tesla, I feel like that would really help kind of reassure that he's still with the company. But until we get any signs of that, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla kept going lower. I do think it's kind of bottoming out here, like in the 220s. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with that one. We also got Palantir here. Palantir is actually holding up really nicely compared to the rest of the market, in my opinion. I mean, this thing peaked at like 120. Now it's holding the 80s really well. Like you would expect something like Palantir trading at like 500 PE to just collapse by now, but it's actually holding up very well. I'm really surprised with that one. Now tomorrow is going to be a huge day for the stock market because we have Jerome Powell. He's going to be speaking about his view on the economy, and he's going to give us a rate cut decision, and that's going to be huge. It's going to swing the markets. I think it's going to move the S&P like 2% tomorrow. It's going to be a really important day, and yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on that. I mean, most likely he's not going to cut, but that's already priced in, so it's okay if we don't get a cut. But it's important that Powell, he doesn't sound too hawkish when he talks, and he kind of like we need him to say that the economy's fine and inflation is coming down, and like unemployment is under control, and their dual mandate goal is also under control. I feel like if he says that, then hopefully we do get a bounce tomorrow, considering we are down pretty significantly, as you can see by this 1 month performance. And the S&P is still down, I believe, 8.5%, something like that. So it would be nice to get a bounce tomorrow, but it's not guaranteed. And as for NVIDIA, I mean, look, I think this is one of the best opportunities that we've gotten in a long time. I mean, fundamentally, it's at its cheapest level it's been since November 2022, which is when ChatGPT got released. And now you're basically getting NVIDIA at a big discount. And now they're the leader of the AI revolution, so they're actually like a lot more special than they were a couple years ago, I guess. The best way to put it. But yeah, I think at some point investors are going to realize how ridiculous this discount is and they're just going to start buying it out like crazy. And hopefully if the next earnings report in a couple months delivers, then we get a rally into like no, I'm going to be generous. I'm going to say the 150 is just back to all-time highs, but I really think this is like a 170, 180 stock closer to the end of this year. That would be like a 50% move from here, which I think is totally realistic.